The scorching California sun blazed down on the Hollywood Walk of Fame that afternoon, but little Emma didn't seem to notice. Her small hands trembled slightly as she held up a cardboard sign scribbled with black marker, "For sale $100. Beside her, an old wooden guitar rested against a lamppost, its strings worn, its finish dulled by time. People passed by without looking twice, their laughter echoing through the streets, their shadows dancing across the pink stars beneath her shoes. She stood there in silence, her eyes hidden behind a curtain of dark bangs, hoping someone would stop. That guitar wasn't just an instrument, it was all she had left of her father. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of compassion, take a second to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our channel. These stories remind us that sometimes the smallest acts of love can change a life forever. Emma's father, Daniel, had been a struggling musician who believed that music could heal the soul even when life fell apart. He used to play that same guitar every night, sitting on the edge of Emma's bed, singing lullabies until her eyelids grew heavy. The melodies became her comfort, her language of love. But when Daniel's illness came, everything changed. Cancer had taken him faster than anyone expected, leaving behind silence where songs once filled the air. Her mother, Laura, worked double shifts at a diner to keep food on the table. Bills piled up, and the little apartment they rented began to feel smaller with each passing month. Emma noticed her mother crying at night, quietly counting coins at the kitchen table when she thought Emma was asleep. So one morning, without telling anyone, the little girl decided to help. She took her father's guitar, one he had promised would someday be her sound, walked several blocks down to Hollywood Boulevard. Her plan was simple in her mind: sell the guitar, help her mother, and maybe, just maybe, make things a little easier. But life rarely goes as planned. For hours, no one stopped. Tourists walked past her, taking selfies with the stars beneath their feet. Street performers played loud music, drowning out her tiny voice whenever she tried to speak. Some people smiled politely but kept walking. Others ignored her completely. The sun grew hotter and her throat dry. Still, she stood her ground. She wasn't giving up. Then, as if by fate, a man with long blonde hair, sunglasses, and a quiet aura of curiosity stopped near her. He wore jeans, a white t-shirt, and a gold cross around his neck. He knelt down beside the guitar, his expression soft but confused. "What are you selling it for?" he asked gently, though his tone carried a mixture of disbelief and sadness. Emma simply held up her sign. $100, she said, her voice almost a whisper. The man looked at her for a long moment, then at the guitar. His heart tightened. He could see that this wasn't about money. It was about love, loss, and survival. He recognized the pain in her eyes, the kind that never belonged in a child's gaze. That man was Ozzy Osbourne. Now, Ozzy wasn't out on the street as a rock legend that day. He had come quietly, enjoying the city incognito, thinking about life, music, and the strange ways fate worked. When he saw Emma, something inside him shifted. He saw himself years ago, a broken soul, using music as a lifeline. Ozzy picked up the guitar carefully, strumming a few chords. The sound was imperfect but warm. It carried history in every note. "Who did this belong to?" he asked softly. "My dad," Emma said, looking at the ground. "He has gone, but Mom needs money, so I'm selling it." Ozzy's fingers froze on the strings. The world around him seemed to fade at the cars, the noise, the chaos of Hollywood, and for a moment, all that existed was this little girl and her courage. He thought of his own children, his past mistakes, the people who had once believed in him when he had nothing. Music had saved him more times than he could count. Maybe. Today, it was his turn to return that grace. He didn't want to just hand her money and walk away. That wouldn't honor her father's legacy. Instead, he decided to do something she'd never forget. He smiled and asked if she'd mind showing him how her dad used to play. She looked nervous, but she nodded. The guitar was almost too big for her small frame, but she sat on the curb, took a deep breath, and strummed a few uneven chords. It wasn't perfect, but the emotion behind it was raw and pure. People nearby began to stop, curiosity pulling them closer. The sound of a child's trembling song echoing through the boulevard had a magic no microphone could amplify. Ozzy leaned closer, his eyes moist. "That's beautiful," he whispered. Then he did something unexpected. Took out his phone, recorded a short clip, and asked her if she'd like to play it again while he sang with her. She nodded shyly. Together, they played a rock legend and a 9-year-old girl with a cardboard sign. Within minutes, a crowd had gathered. Phones were raised, tears shimmered in strangers' eyes. The melody, simple as it was, touched something deep inside everyone who heard it. When they finished, the applause was thunderous. Emma looked around, confused but smiling through her tears. Ozzy handed her the guitar back and said, "Never sell this, sweetheart. This isn't just wood and strings, it's your dad's soul. Keep it, play it, and one day let the world hear your music." Then he reached into his pocket, took out a thick wad of bills, and handed it to her. "Use this to help your mom, all right? But promise me you'll keep that guitar." Emma's eyes widened. She couldn't even speak. People around them started clapping again, realizing what had just happened. Ozzy gently patted her shoulder, smiled, and walked away quietly before the crowd recognized who he truly was. Later that evening, Emma ran home, breathless and tearful, clutching both the guitar and the envelope of money. Her mother froze when she saw the amount, $1,000. Along with it, there was a small handwritten note that said, "From one musician to another. Never stop believing in the music inside you." That night, Emma's mother cried harder than she had in years, but this time they were tears of hope. She hugged her daughter tightly, whispering over and over how proud she was of her. That money didn't just cover their bills, it helped them move to a better place, closer to the school Emma loved. But the story didn't end there. A few days later, the video Ozzy had recorded went viral online. Millions watched the moment between the little girl and the rock icon. People from around the world sent messages of love, donations, and offers to help. Some musicians even offered Emma free lessons. Reporters tried to find her, but Ozzy had kept her name private. He didn't want fame to overwhelm her. He just wanted her to live, learn, and grow in peace. Months passed, and Emma began to play that guitar every evening. Her father's old melodies blended with new ones of her own creation. Her mom often listened from the kitchen, smiling through her exhaustion. The music brought life back into their home. It became a reminder that love never really dies, it just changes shape. Years later, when Emma turned 16, she performed at a local charity concert. The same guitar restored and shining under the stage, lights rested in her hands. She dedicated her performance to the man who believed in kindness when the world looked away. The crowd cheered, unaware that in the back of the audience, an older man with silver hair, dark glasses, and a proud smile watched quietly from the shadows. It was Ozzy. He didn't approach her afterward. He didn't need to. He had seen what he came to see, the spark of hope he once lit now burning bright in a young soul, and as he walked away into the night, the sound of her guitar carried through the air, just as her father's once had. Emma would go on to record her own songs, each one inspired by her father's love and the kindness of a stranger. And every time someone asked her about the old guitar, she would smile and say, "It's not for sale. Not anymore." If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Let's keep spreading stories that remind us humanity still shines bright even in the darkest corners. What would you have done if you were in Ozzy's place? Would you have walked past or stopped to listen? Sometimes it only takes one act of kindness to turn someone's pain into a lifetime of hope.